The third element of music is the composition. Let's take a look at two very important concepts you need to study in this building block. The longer a viewer is drawn to looking at your painting, the more interesting that painting is to them. So your goal is to keep the viewer's interest by keeping their eye moving around the painting. This is called eye movement. In this painting, Botticelli directs our eye from the radiating lines of the shell up to the angels. Your eye then follows the diagonal of their bodies up to their heads. And by following the gaze of the angels, you arrive at the head of the main figure. The eye path then moves down the flow of the hair to the hand. And finally, your eye moves down the legs back again to the shell. From the shell, you can take another path to the figure on the right. Your eye then follows the leg up to the left arm, and then follows the direction of this left arm back to the same hand again on the main figure. Alternatively, your eye could move up the left leg and along the right arm to the head of the main figure once again, and then rejoin one of the other paths around the painting. None of this eye movement was by chance. It was all carefully planned by Botticelli. And it doesn't matter whether you are doing representational painting or abstract painting, the exact same principles of eye movement apply. In this painting I did in Bastia Harbour in Corsica, you can see another planned eye movement. Your eye moves along the line of the wharf and arrives at the small group of figures. It then continues along the wharf to the reflection of the lighthouse and follows this reflection back down to the starting point. Another path takes you up the stairs to the top of the breakwater, and then along the top of the breakwater to the lighthouse. It then moves up to the tower, to the red roof at the top of the lighthouse, and finally back down the lighthouse to the reflection to rejoin the original path once more. In this watercolor by Thomas Moran of Yellowstone National Park in the US, you can see similar patterns of eye movement. There are many ways in which you can make the viewer's eye move around the painting, not just these simple directing lines. So you need to make a study of this topic to fully master it. A painting needs to have some parts that are more detailed than other parts, and that are interesting to look at. You don't want to have detail all over the painting, or the viewer will be overwhelmed. These areas of more detail are called focal areas. You can see in this painting that most of the detail is in the area near the figure. This is the part of the painting that draws your attention the most. The other areas of the painting are left less detailed. Here is another example in this Tibetan landscape. It is the foreground group of figures in the painting that attracts the most attention, even though there are other figures in the background near the tent to the right. There were a few techniques used here to attract attention to these foreground figures. One is the color. You can see that the highly saturated and pure colors were used in these figures compared to the duller and grayer colors used in the landscape in the background. Also notice the high degree of contrast between the dark face and the light river against which it is silhouetted. Both of these techniques help draw attention to the figures. Here's another example. In this case, the focal area is the umbrella. Its bright colors were used to attract the viewer's attention. This landscape painting of Pacific Grove in California at sunset has two focal areas. The principal focal area is the intense light colors in the clouds, and the secondary focal area is in the rocks where the sunlight is hitting them. I always like painting at this time of day because the warm light creates beautiful spots of color in the landscape, which make natural focal areas. Focal areas and eye movement are two key things you need to learn about in composition. But composition is a very broad topic, and there are scores of other principles involved, such as contrast, unity and variety, organizational structures, and many others. In the next lecture, you will learn about the fourth and final building block of music, and probably the most exciting one of all for a painter.